Roll VTR, 60 seconds live.
Stand by. Loading 1, 2, and effects 2. No, we're live at 60.
Out to the right. Rudy flush. Throws it down.
Going to be fielded by Lorenzo Neal at the 25. Uses it back to White.
30 seconds live.
Across the field to Dyson. He's got something. He's got something. He's got it. He's got it. He's got it. End zone. Touchdown Titans. There are no flags on the field. There's a long drive.
In 3, 2.
What's your name, boy?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Scoop Podcast Show. I'm your host, Sean Harris.
Hello.
For those of you who do not know me, now you know. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, and also blogspot.com and all your other social media sites that's out there. To follow the show, you just go to facebook.com/The Scoop Talk Show. There you will find pictures, articles, videos, and everything else that you're looking for and much, much more. I'd like to send a shout out to the Dominican Republic. For listening to the show. Thank you so much for following the Scoop Podcast Show and lending all your support that you can. And this is something new that we're going to do each and every time on the Scoop Podcast Show, is we're going to present to you something that we like to call That's right, roll call, where we will pick out the most prominent listener that likes the page, follow the page, tweet me, and everything else, and we will send your name out over the airwaves so that everybody can hear and know who you are. Today's first pick is Luis Cost from Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. Congratulations, Luis. Keep listening to the show, and hopefully those of you out there who continue to listen and support and follow the Scoop Talk Show and the Scoop Podcast Show, your name will be also announced over the airways as well. We're going to talk a little bit about NBA. We got Kevin Garnett back in the news again after announcing his retirement earlier in the week. We got Chris BOSH back in the news as well. Like I said before, we're going to keep up with that story. I got that for you on hand too. We're going to talk a little bit about NFL football. We're going to talk about the game last night between Miami and Cincinnati. We're going to also go into WNBA playoffs right now. Then the semifinals between Phoenix and Minnesota. And you got LA at home against Chicago. We're going to be talking a little bit about that. We're also going to be going into a little bit about other things too as well. So let's get right on into it, shall we?
Oh, hell yeah!
Let's start with last night's game in the NFL.
Snap now.
All right. Everybody calm down. For those of you that didn't watch the game, I saw the game last night, and Cincinnati literally just blew Miami away.
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
The score was 22-7. Andy Dalton, A.J. Green was phenomenal in that game. A.J. Green was running routes like crazy. The secondary of Miami could not stop him at all. He darn near ended up with more yardage than the whole entire team of Miami. He finished out with 173 yards on 10 receptions. First downs, Cincinnati killed them, 19-8. They wore the defense down with Dominic Sue and company. They just simply could not do anything, could not muster up anything against Cincinnati's offense at all. Now, mind you, Ryan Tannehill expressed a lot of frustration about the game. And let's listen to Ryan Tannehill and his head coach back to back on what they had to say about it.
We have to get it fixed soon, and by soon I mean Monday. You know, it's gone on too long. You know, there's no more excuses, no more waiting. It's got to be important to everyone that steps foot on that field, and we have to get it fixed right now. Kind of in a dark spot right now. Defense is playing well. They're keeping us in games, doing some really good things out there, and the offense has to get it going. It's squarely on our shoulders to find ways to move the ball, make the plays, and like I said, it all starts with execution and doing the right thing to start.
I mean, it is literally somebody different every time. Whether it be the play call, whether it be the quarterback, the running back, the lineman, the wide receiver, it's everybody. We're taking our turns.
Now that was Ryan Tannehill and his head coach talking about the game last night. He's right. Tannehill's right. They need to improve on offense. But let's keep in mind, though, that they was willing to give up on him a couple of years ago after giving him all that money. But they decided to keep him, try to build around him, and he still has not produced the way he should produce.
Right.
In my opinion, I think Tannehill should be gone. I don't know what all you all out there think about it, but that's what I think about it.
You damn right!
You gotta learn not to talk that way.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
And no, I'm not going to be ashamed of myself about that, because let the truth be told, Tannehill hasn't really done anything in Miami since he got there. The game last night alone, he was 15 out of 25 for 189 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception, but the big number out of all of that was 5 sacks. He was sacked 5 times with the Cincinnati 4-man rush. Now, I don't know if Cincinnati's defense was that much energized or whether Miami's offense was de-energized from being out there on the field so long.
They are who we thought they were.
Don't know. He got sacked 5 times. That's all I know. Call it what you want. The rushing game was never employed at all. Ajayi, he only had 6 rushes for 33 yards. Drake only had 2 rushes for 15 yards. Williams, 2 rushes for 9 yards. Pede, 3 rushes for 5 yards. That's not going to get it done, people. I'm sorry. That's just not going to get it done. The Miami offense has to get the running game going. They have to get the play-action plays going, setting up the running game at the start, and they're not doing that. The only bright spot out of it all was Steele, the wide receiver. The only reception he had throughout the whole entire game, 74-yard bomb in the first quarter for the touchdown. And Landry, which a lot of you people I know picked on your fantasy pick to open up the week, didn't do so well. He had 7 receptions for 61 yards. That's because the secondary was being real stingy with him. Wouldn't allow him to go deep. Wouldn't allow him to cut routes the way he wanted to cut routes. Staying in containment with him on close knit range with him. Bodies bumping the bump. They was really looking out for this guy because they know he's a threat. Now with Cincinnati, they had a phenomenal game last night. Even though Miami's defense held them with Dominic and Sue leading the way to 5 field goals and a touchdown, but still, they still had a phenomenal game out of this. Andy Dalton, look at his numbers. 22 out of 31 for 296 yards, a TD. Yeah, of course, he was sacked. Big deal. Who cares? But in the victory, don't worry about that. The running game was decent, but it got the job done. It showed the effectiveness because it opened up Andy Dalton to throw the football. Hill had 21 rushes for 71 yards. Bernard had 10 rushes for 18 yards. And what I meant by saying it opened up the passing game, that's exactly what it did. You hear me out there, people? Are you really hearing me out there right now?
I can relate.
It opened up the passing game because A.J. Green got off in this game. He literally got off in this game. Like I said, the 10 receptions for 173 yards. And the only touchdown that they scored outside of the 5 field goals that they kicked. The ball was being spread around to 5 different receivers in this game. Now, Miami falls to 1-3. So we have to look at their situation, their scenario on how things are going to play out on the way for them. Because me personally, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I really don't.
Say what?
They got an easy schedule. To start out October, since they have a short week, they had home against Tennessee. I'll give them a win on that. But then guess what? They got Pittsburgh the following week, October 16th. That's going to be a tough one. Pittsburgh plays Sunday night in the matinee. Prime time. That's a loss for them. Then they got Buffalo with Rex Ryan and company coming into town. And Rex Ryan right now, he needs this victory against them. Just keep him off the hot seat. Because he knows that if he loses to Miami, who just lost to Cincinnati in a blowout last night, his job is in jeopardy. We'll talk about that later on down the road as we follow what they're doing. October 23rd, they come to town. So we're going to give them a win on that. To open up November 6th, they at home against the Jets. So they got 4 straight home games. And they should be able to beat the Jets. Then they go to the San Diego Chargers, which I think they're going to lose there. You got the first place Rams that they got to travel to November 20th. That's a loss there. You got the 49ers to end out November. I don't know about that. But just for the benefit of the doubt, I give them a loss. Okay? December opens up. You got the 4th of December. They got a tough Baltimore team, which is undefeated right now, coming into town. Got home at Arizona. That's going to be a loss for them there. December 17th, they're at the Jets. We'll give them a victory there. Christmas Eve, they're at Buffalo. Benefit of the doubt, give them a win there. To close out the season, they at home against a tough New England team who right now, at this point, Tom Brady is going to be back. So I'll go out of those games, I'll say they'll go 6-6. 6-6. And that is not going to be enough for them to make playoffs. Because they'll put their record at 7-9. When you look at Cincinnati's schedule and what they got going on, a little bit harder. They have a lot of teams scheduled for them to play in this 2016 season. A lot of tough teams who's starting out of the gates real hot. Real hot. They begin their October session, October 9th, since they also have a short week. They got Dallas. At Dallas. Them boys is red hot right now. That young defense, that young offense is red hot right now. I'm going to give them a loss on that. Then they got to go to New England. That's another loss. October 23rd, they got the Cleveland Browns. I give them a win on that. October 30th, Halloween Eve, they're at home against Washington. I'll give them a loss on that. To start out November 14th, they're at the Giants. That's another loss. They got Buffalo at home, give them a win. They got a tough Baltimore team coming up November 27th. That's a loss. Philadelphia to open up December 4th. They're at home against Philadelphia. Another loss. They're at Cleveland December 11th. A victory. They got Pittsburgh day before my birthday, December 18th. That's another loss. They got a hurt Houston Texans team on defense without J.J. Watt. We're going to talk about J.J. Watt in a little while. Christmas Eve. Benefit of the doubt, give them a win. Then they got Baltimore to close out the season at home. Another loss. You got a possibility of them looking at going 5-7. So they're looking at being 7-9. Now, when you look at the two scenarios of both of those teams, they're both 7-9. But the crazy part about it is that Cincinnati has a more tougher schedule than Miami. So who would benefit more out of this scheduling that they have coming up in the remaining games of the season? I believe it's Miami. But the thing about it is that if they go 7-9, in order for them to get back into the hunt of the AFC East for Miami, New England got a straight falter. But right now it looks like they're going to run away with this division. You got the Jets 1-2. You got Buffalo 1-2. You got Miami 1-3. Yeah, it's still early. But still, we're talking about three teams that really ain't going anywhere, and New England is going to run away with that division.
This is deep.
You don't like it?
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
And over in the North, Cincinnati is right back into the thick of the hunt. They're only a half game behind Pittsburgh, who plays on the primetime game on Sunday. And Baltimore play at 1 o'clock that Sunday afternoon. So in order for Cincinnati to get back into the thick of things, they need Baltimore and Pittsburgh to fall and lose some key games in order for them to leapfrog both of them teams to get in the first place, let alone take over the North. But we'll just have to wait and see how this season plays out with both of those two teams as they go along. Sticking with the NFL, of course, everybody by now should have heard or known about J.J. Watt, his season-ending back surgery.
Snap now.
Hey, man!
Yeah, I know. I feel kind of bummed out about that too. Because J.J. Watt on the defensive side of the football give you good fantasy points. He's a great pass rusher. He's very fast. He can get to the quarterback. He can get in the backfield real strongly, beat his man. But the Houston Texans is going to have to do without him for the rest of the season. This is his second surgery in 3 months. Now the question is, will the Houston Texans make the playoffs without him? Me personally, I don't think so. I don't think that the Houston Texans will make the playoffs with him being gone, because he was the key, integral part of that team.
Come on, man.
He's the MVP and the leader of that team. Now, yeah, of course, they got other players that can produce, but not the same as J.J. Watt can. He changes the game when he's in the game. Right now, the Houston Texans are 2-1, losing to New England 27-0. So they trying to rebound. And the best way to do it is against the Tennessee Titans, who lost to the Raiders last week as well in a close one. This will be not really per se their first test without J.J. Watt being in the lineup to see what this defense can do. But Tennessee, I guarantee, is going to give them all they got. All that they can handle. Because Tennessee is trying to bounce back from their loss. Here's their schedule. You ready? October 2nd, they open up with Tennessee at home. We're going to give them a victory. It's going to be a close one, but we'll give it to them. October 9th, they have Minnesota without Adrian Peterson in the lineup. Don't know. They still got weapons in Minnesota. So we're going to give them a loss on that one. Indianapolis, comes to town with Andrew Luck and company. That's going to be a nail biter, I believe. But at the same time, I'll give them the victory on that. They got an explosive Denver Broncos team coming their way when they go to Denver. That's a loss. Then followed up with being at home versus the Lions. The Lions are also an explosive team as well, coming into their own up under Jim Caldwell. That's another loss. Then you got the beginning of November, November 13th. They had Jacksonville. That team is not really going nowhere, in my opinion. That's a win. They got a good Oakland Raiders team that they have to travel to following Jacksonville with Crabtree and Carr and Cooper and all those guys. That's another loss. Then you got the Chargers at home on November 27th. Don't know. But for the benefit of the doubt, we'll give them the victory over the Chargers to close out November. Then opening up December 4th, they're at Green Bay. Man, I can't even imagine how that game going to turn out.
Okay, there's going to be 3 orders of hell no. Okay, there's 2 sides of Ask Your Mama and a large cup of Negro, please.
But that's a loss to Green Bay. Then on December 11th, they go to Indy. And Andrew Luck is not going to forget about that loss that he suffered at the hands of them back on the 16th of October. If they should lose to them, he's going to come out with a victory at home, crowd on his side. So that's a loss in their favor. Day before my birthday, they got Jacksonville at home. That should be a win. Followed by Cincinnati, who won last night convincingly. Christmas Eve. That's another loss. And then they got the Tennessee Titans at Tennessee to close out the season. That's a victory. So they're looking at being 6-7 for the remainder of the season, the way I predicted. They can go 8-8 right now. Will that be enough to make the playoffs? Man, I don't know. I really don't know, because the South, you got Indianapolis in the South. That's the team that they're going to have to contend with strongly. This is not going to be a runaway in the South like it is in the East with New England.
Right.
And maybe in the West with Denver. Indianapolis is going to make it a divisional race down the stretch. I guarantee it. So Houston have to work real hard on the defensive side of the football and shut down teams that they have to shut down, especially teams that are considered like powerhouse teams or considered the most likely to win according to the power rankings. Oh yeah, the power rankings means everything in football, just like in basketball. Power rankings means everything. So we'll keep an eye out on Houston and see where they end up and what's happening with them. Now moving on to the NBA. The season starts tomorrow, officially. And preseason opens up immediately following after that. All the hoopla and everything about waiting for the NBA has now finally arrived, and the NBA will be starting up October 1st. With some games tomorrow in a big major way. Well, like I stated earlier, we talked a little bit about Kevin Garnett announcing his retirement earlier in the week. And it appears that he was working out with Blake Griffin and the Clippers earlier in the week. Now, the situation is about now, he is being sought after by Tyronn Lue. Tyronn Lue, who just re-signed a new deal with the Cleveland Cavaliers after winning the championship his first year last season, is looking at Kevin Garnett to come be on his staff as assistant coach.
Say what?
Don't know exactly what Kevin got on his mind with all of that, but it's out there. And Lue said, quote, I talked to him about it. I know his wife is pushing for it a little bit. I know his wife is pushing for it a lot. Unquote. But Kevin Garnett says he's not ready yet to do anything. He might consider it. A little back and forth with him. But Lue also reassured him that he'll make a spot for him if he wants to come back and do some coaching. Now, I'm going to put a poll out there later on and see if everybody will react to that. And leave comments. Tell me what you think about it. I'd like to hear from you. I'm going to put it on the Scoop Talk Show's Facebook page. Don't be shy about it. Let me hear your thoughts about it. Do you think Kevin Garnett can really be a coach in the league? Do it sound like that fits him now that he's not a player anymore? I don't know, but I'm going to put the poll out there. But Garnett also went on to say that he will attend the Cavs game on October 25th to witness LeBron James and them getting their championship rings and raise the banner up. Now, after all, Lue and Garnett do have history together because Lue was in Boston after they won the title. Doc Rivers was there at the time. And then Lue went on to become the coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers. So we'll keep on tabs with that as the story develops with Kevin Garnett and Tyronn Lue and the Cleveland Cavaliers on see what he gonna do. This segment of the Scoop Podcast Show is brought to you by, in conjunction with and in association with, KSC Entertainment LLC. KSC Entertainment LLC. Chase your dreams. Don't let your dreams chase you. Hey everyone, this is Sean Harris, host of the Scoop Podcast Show. Be sure to catch the Scoop Podcast Show every week. You can also go to the show's Facebook page. Just go to facebook.com/The Scoop Talk Show. There you'll see archives of pictures, videos, and blogs from the Scoop Talk Show. You can also find me on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, and all your other social media outlets. That's the Scoop Podcast Show each and every week. Sticking with the NBA, Chris Bosh is back in the news again. Of course, you all know that I put the report out there in regards that Miami Heat President Pat Riley was going to release him. Well, it's true. It's true. It's true. It's true. Bosh is now no longer a Miami Heat. President Pat Riley told the media that he's not working on bringing him back, and effective immediately ended his tenure with the Miami Heat. Bosh is a little upset about that. He expressed that. And he also wrote heartfelt thank yous to the Heat fans for supporting him during the time he was out there. So now you got a situation in Miami to where, is this a possibility that they're going to have to rebuild because now the big three is gone? Wade is in Chicago. LeBron went back home to Cleveland and won his title. And now BOSH is no longer there. But at the same time, it put Miami Heat organization in a hard place between that rock. They looking out for his health because after all, he did not pass his physical due to they found more blood clots in his lungs. They could not risk his health, even though he says that he's able to play. I don't think at this point with BOSH, I don't think no team out there would want to really take a chance with him. Because we're talking about his health here. We're talking about the possibility of something could happen to him at any given moment. And he literally can die. So that is a big responsibility for a team to take on. Plus, on top of that, Miami, it was also now that frees up them on the salary cap. Because the money that they was going to pay him, that would have put them over the salary cap. But they agreed that they will pay him for the rest of this season. Now the rest of the money is left to be determined. Do BOSH feel he's owed that money, or do the Miami Heat organization say, hey, look, upon our contract that you signed, if you are able to perform, we're not going to pay you the rest of the deal. We will give you money for the rest, for this season here, but that's about it. I just wish Chris BOSH the best of luck in his endeavors on what he's going to do now that the Miami Heat done let him go, and see where that goes with, or where that takes off to after his. Will he continue to play basketball, or will he not continue to play basketball? That remains to be seen. We'll keep you up with that story as it develops with Chris BOSH over time. We have some WNBA news. The semifinals of the WNBA are underway. Last night, 4 teams remain. 4 teams. The Phoenix Mercury, Minnesota Lynx, Chicago Sky, LA Sparks. You couldn't ask for better 4 teams to represent the WNBA in the semis than these 4 right here. Phoenix and Mercury played last night. Phoenix and Minnesota played last night. Minnesota winning 113-95. And I tell you, I watched some of that game and I was into it. I mean, for those of you who have never really watched a WNBA game, I'm telling you, you got to go and see it. You got to watch it. Even if it's on TV, they play great. Diana Taurasi led the way with 25 points for the Phoenix Mercury in the loss. She played outstanding. She led all scorers throughout the game. Brittany Griner, she played 26 minutes. She had 16 points. She held her own. Marta Argai, she had 10 points in 17 minutes. But those were the only 3 players in double figures. Minnesota Lynx, they had 6 players in double figures, led by Maya Moore, 31 points in 29 minutes. She had 8 rebounds to go with that, and 2 steals. Silver Flowers, 16 points in 24 minutes with 10 rebounds. Simone Augustus had 10 points, 21 minutes, 7 assists, 2 steals. Lindsey Whalen, 19 points in 24 minutes with 7 assists as well. 2 rebounds, Renee Montgomery, 11 points, 18 minutes with 3 assists. And Natasha Howard, she had 10 points in 19 minutes with 5 rebounds and 1 assist. In a way, the game kind of went back and forth, but it was the even quarters that Minnesota was able to capitalize on. That big second quarter where they went 31-15 scoring, that really broke them out in front. Both of these two teams was evenly matched throughout the contest, except for that second quarter, where Minnesota just took over. Game 2 between them two is on Sunday at 5 o'clock, where Minnesota now travels to Phoenix, to where Phoenix can even the series at home with the crowd behind them. Chicago Sky to LA Sparks. The Sparks came out on the win, 95-75, winning by 20. The Sparks opened up the game in the second quarter, opened up the game in the fourth. The second quarter was most important because they outscored them 30-15, doubling up on Chicago. But these two teams kind of went back and forth, but it was that big second quarter that put the Sparks ahead for good. The Sparks, they had 4 players in double figures, led the way by my good friend, Candace Parker. She had 29 minutes in the game, 9 rebounds, and 30 points. Nakia Onwambe. She had 27 points in 30 minutes. Jantel Lavender, she had 12 points in 16 minutes. She also had 4 rebounds. Let me go back to Nakia. She had also 10 rebounds, 6 assists. Then we'll leave all her stats out there. Going a little bit too fast here. That game was exciting. Christy Tolliver, she had 10 points in 31 minutes, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. But all in all, the Sparks won and took over game 1 with that. Chicago Sky, they had 4 players in double figures, led the way by Cappie Poindexter. She had 12 points in 29 minutes with 3 assists. Tamara Young, 11 points, 26 minutes with 5 rebounds and 3 assists and 3 steals. The Chicago Sky held their own for a minute there. They also had 4 players in double figures, led the way by Jameer Faulkner. Jameer Faulkner played 17 minutes. She had 13 points with 2 rebounds and 2 assists. Cappie Poindexter, she had 12 points in 29 minutes. She also had 3 assists. Tamara Young, 11 points in 26 minutes. She had 5 rebounds and 3 assists. Courtney Vandersloot, she had 10 points in 28 minutes with 5 rebounds and 5 assists. So they was kind of holding their own against the Sparks, but it just was that second quarter that made the difference in the whole entire game. So the Sparks ended up taking game 1 by 20, 95-75. Game 2 is October 2nd, which is Sunday on ESPN. You can catch that on ESPN at 3 o'clock, where the Sparks travel to Chicago. And that is your WNBA news. Well, that's all I have for today's segment of the Scoop Podcast Show. Thank you so much for listening to another edition of it. I really appreciate it. Keep liking it, keep supporting it, keep following it. And once again, thank you to the Dominican Republic and my good friend, Luis Cass, who is the roll call fan of the day. For more of the Scoop Talk Show or the Scoop Podcast Show, go to facebook.com/the Scoop Talk Show. You can also find me on Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, and all your other social media outlets out there. And to read about any articles that I may have, go to the Scoop Talk Show /blogspot.com. Until next time, thank you. If it wasn't for you, this show or what I do would not be possible. I'm out of here like the breeze through the trees, and when I'm gone, I'm taking all the leaves. Peace, take care, and I'll see you next time.